Subscribe now. EU debates.
The recommendation is clear. The recommendation is European perspective and candidate status. And we understand that the countries will do further reforms before they can move on. And move on depends on how they perform. There is a very clear process in our methodology, and the overall methodology has been reformed, I think, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. And there we got this dynamic into the methodology for all the countries that are applicants for European membership. That is, if you can move on faster with clusters that are summarized, but you can also fall back, so there is a reversibility in the overall process, if you do not perform but backslide. And this goes for all the countries that are applying for EU membership. I think this is something very important and beautiful in the process itself, because it shows that it's the country itself that has it in its hand, whether they progress rapidly or whether there's a stagnation or whether there's a backsliding. On the topic of corruption, it is a topic, it is an issue. We've always been working on it. And indeed, the people of Ukraine elected their government just because they wanted the fight against corruption. We have, of course, seen that over time, and mainly in the last years, there was progress in fighting corruption. If you look, for example, at Transparency International over the last 6 years, yes, Ukraine is starting from a low level. But what is important is the trajectory. And the trajectory is positive, so they are gaining ground on fighting corruption. That is important. You see also that indeed there was a dip in 2019, but then they progressed again. And you have other countries that in this table are backsliding and are losing ground on corruption. One more point on corruption. What is so important? It's the digitalization of processes. Because the less you have person-to-person contacts, and the more you have digitized, the better you can fight corruption. And we've discussed that intensively when I was in Kyiv with President Zelenskyy and Prime Minister Shmyhal. Prime Minister Shmyhal has very interesting, far-reaching plans what the digitalization of the country and the processes are concerned. So there's awareness of the issue, and there should be and is awareness of the issue, but there's also intensive work that is being done. And this is just a criterion where you have to improve.